about a post-Trump presidency that this sets a precedent for any future president to do this in the future, defying the court orders, especially SCOTUS, the highest court in the land.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And this is one of those incredibly important questions because what is happening to Kilmar Abrego García could happen to any one of us, because that is what eliminating due process means. It means that, you could point to anyone and accuse them of being undocumented, including U.S. citizens, and just immediately ship off U.S. citizens to some prison camp in El Salvador that is not subject to U.S. jurisdiction, and this sets the ground not just for undocumented people, but for political dissidents as well, U.S. political dissidents.
Excuse my appearance. I just worked out, and also it is raining. But I need to say this because I keep hearing it from Democrats, obviously, but also from some people on the right who I think believe that they are standing up for due process and for freedom, even when it's not politically convenient for them, but they are not. So it is such a ridiculous fear-mongering statement to say that what happened to Kilmar Abrego García could happen to any of us. That is simply not true, and you're going to need to show your math on that one, how you get from A to Z in 0.1 seconds. Kilmar Abrego García was here illegally. He was here illegally. The president deported someone who was here illegally. You tell me how that sets the stage for that to happen to U.S. citizens, for a Democrat president to come in 2028 and start deporting Republicans. That would suggest that what Donald Trump is doing is deporting political dissidents. He is not. He is deporting people who are here illegally. Okay, even if Kilmar Abrego García is not MS-13, and he is, even if he's not a wife beater, and he is, even if he's not a criminal, and he was trafficking humans, he was here illegally. In no way, shape, or form does deporting him then set the stage for you or me or any other U.S. citizen to be deported. And were Kilmar Abrego García to be extradited back to the United States, all that would happen would be that he would get a hearing and then he would be deported again. That's all that would happen, okay? Because he was here illegally and he's also a criminal. That's all that would happen. And people keep acting like this SCOTUS ruling, that Donald Trump is defying the SCOTUS ruling. He's not. It's clear that they didn't actually read it, and it's only 4 pages. They keep framing this as if it was some type of unanimous victory for Democrats and for Abrego García. It wasn't. What SCOTUS said was that the Trump administration has to facilitate the return of Abrego García, but they also noted quite clearly that it is unclear legally what facilitate means, what the lower judge meant by facilitate. And so that judge would have to clarify what that means with due regard to the authority that the executive branch holds in matters of foreign affairs. So it's basically a nothing burger to say that Trump has to facilitate the return of Abrego García, because again, what does that mean? We cannot go into El Salvador and kidnap this man who is, again, a native of El Salvador. He is in his home country. So yes, if Bukele were to send Abrego García back to the U.S., we would have to welcome him. We couldn't turn him away at the border. He would get another hearing and he would be sent home. Tell me what's so scary about that. Tell me how that puts you and me as U.S. citizens at risk. Please tell me, okay? Because that's not what is happening here. This man was adjudicated twice in 2019 to be a member of MS-13. He was denied bail. It was only after he was denied bail, only after he got in trouble with the law, only after he was here for several years illegally that he applied for asylum. He was denied asylum. He was granted a withholding order stating that he could not be deported to El Salvador because he had a credible fear of rival gangs. However, since then, Bukele has cleaned up the danger that was in El Salvador, and the danger is no longer present. So, yes, yes, possibly the Trump administration should have had a hearing prior to deporting him. But y'all, if they send him back, all that's going to happen is he's going to have a hearing and then he's going to be deported again. That is literally all that's going to happen. There is no world in which Kilmar Abrego García lives out the rest of his life in the U.S. It's just not going to happen. And there is no world in which that fact endangers you or me as U.S. citizens. So please stop.